Mr. Bledsoe?
Hello, Mr. Maris. Come in, please.
I'm sorry to have kept you waiting.
Not at all. Are they ready to sign?
All set, finally. Gavin Bledsoe, President, Extruded Metals Products. Martin Hughes, President of Afrin Metals. Sign right below you.
Yes. Now, when will he be ready to sign?
He's going to look it over tonight. I'm going out to his house from here. That's why I had to keep you waiting.
I noticed a conditional clause in there. Shall I read the fine print, or would it be easier for you to explain?
Well, that's the least of your worries. This merger between you and Afrin Metals is contingent on an audit of both companies by a CPA.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry to keep you waiting. I've got to run along. I told Hughes I'd meet him at 10. It's 9:15.
I'll see you to the elevator. When will I see you again?
Tomorrow morning. I'm meeting the auditors here at 9.
Good.
Good night, Mr. Bledsoe.
Good night, Mr. Maris. Thanks for your fine work.
Sudden death is always a profound shock. When a fairly young man with everything in the world to live for takes his own life, it becomes a major tragedy. And there seemed to be no doubt that David Farrell had committed suicide.
What was his full name?
David Glenn Farrell. It's a ghastly thing. I just can't believe it. Even after I saw him, I still couldn't believe it.
I think I can fill in the rest, Lieutenant. I knew David very well. He started to work here 5 years ago as an ordinary accountant.
I recognized his talent, and just last year, I appointed him controller of the company. He had a brilliant mind for figures.
When did you see him last?
Last night, a little before 6.
Do you have any idea why David Farrell should want to commit suicide?
None whatsoever.
How about you, Counselor? You said you knew him well. Do you have any ideas?
No ideas. He had a good paying job and a chance of making it bigger and better after the merger.
I'd promised him that.
A nice home, 2 lovely children, a devoted wife. Does that add up to suicide, Lieutenant?
No, it doesn't sound like it. But in a suicide case, a person on the outside never knows.
Ellen, Mrs. Farrell, who will tell her?
That's usually a job for the police.
In this case, I'll do it. It won't be easy to soften the blow, but I'll try.
Well, I'll hold back the report till I check with the medical exam.
Well, shall we proceed with the audit?
Now, why not? If I know Farrell, you'll find the accounts are completely in order. I'll be back in a little while. Now, let's go, Lieutenant. I've got a tough job in my hands.
everyone and everywhere all night. Just called the office a little while ago. Mr. Todd answered the phone. He told me.
Ellen, do you have any idea why David would do a thing like this?
You're an attorney and you have to be practical. I'm a woman and I don't. I'll never believe that David committed suicide. It's a coward's way out. David was not a coward. Will you answer that for me, Herb? Please, I don't want to talk with anyone.
Hello?
Herb, listen, I have the medical examiner's report right here in front of me. It sets the time of death at about 6 last night. Due to multiple contusions.
Yes, that checks out with the information we already have.
As far as I'm concerned, this just about wraps up the case. All I need is one more thing, a motive. A man doesn't commit suicide just because it's Tuesday. There has to be a reason.
Well, it'll be hard to find a reason for this one.
Herb, I understand they're running an audit on the company books. Is that right?
That's right.
Well, do me a favor, will you, Counselor, and let me know how it turns out?
All right, I will. Ellen, it's hard to know what to say in a case like this. A man who makes his living using words suddenly finds them backing up in his throat. But this I know. The good, the kindness, and the love that were David are indestructible and deathless.
David would never in the world commit suicide. I know that, and so do you. I don't know what happened, but we've got to find out. You've got to find out.
That's more in the police's line. I'm just an attorney.
For my sake, for David's.
All right, Ellen. I'll do what I can.
I had to see you. It's something important.
Couldn't you have told me over the phone?
Well, I didn't think you'd want to discuss it in Mr. Bledsoe's office. Ellen Farrell called. She wants to see you. It's about her husband.
Well, I'm afraid if it has anything to do with David, it's as much Mr. Bledsoe's business as it is mine.
Oh, no, she didn't want anyone to know anything about it until after she talked to you. She sounded just desperate. I think she was crying. Oh, here are those contracts.
Thanks. Will you see that Mr. Bledsoe gets them? If anything comes up, I'll be at Ellen's.
Oh, well, what'll I tell him? I thought you were in a meeting.
I have every confidence in your ingenuity, Miss Brent. You'll think of something.
I know you thought David was the soul of integrity. Perfect father, a loyal, outstanding husband.
Go on, Ellen.
Well, I'm just loaded with evidence to the contrary.
Evidence? What do you call evidence?
Mr. Bledsoe's secretary cleaned out David's desk. Brought me his personal things. They were personal, Herb. So personal, I can't bear it. Airline receipt for 2 tickets to the Crystal Sands Resort for David Farrell and wife.
You've never been to Crystal Sands?
No, but apparently she has. For my one and only David. Forever his, Betsy.
But certainly you knew he didn't go out of town.
But he did. Last month, twice. He said it was on business. To Herb. Herb, how could he?
I don't believe David was a liar, and neither do you.
What about this? A letter from some gambler threatening to tell Mr. Bledsoe if David didn't pay the $15,000 that he'd lost. Is that evidence, Counselor?
Yes, it's evidence, but what else do you have?
Just some accounting sheets. Oh, Herb, what happened? Why?
I don't know why, Ellen. But if it's humanly possible, I'm going to find out for both of us.
What am I going to tell the children? How am I ever going to explain?
You're not going to mention this to anyone. But right now, you've got to get some rest. The new evidence uncovered by Ellen Farrell strongly supported the dread suspicion that her husband David had chosen suicide to escape the consequences of his crimes. All that was missing was the auditor's confirmation of embezzlement.
What's all this about?
A missing link in the case against David Farrell, the motive. Gambling debt, infidelities, it's all there. Plus a few personal belongings he left in his desk. They were delivered to his wife.
To get to the point, Herb, you didn't track me down just to convince me of David Farrell's guilt.
Lieutenant, doesn't it strike you as curious that a man capable of embezzling funds to cover his debts would leave a desk full of incriminating evidence?
Wait a minute, Herb. We're talking about a man who jumped down an elevator shaft. And it's just possible he might have had too much on his mind to think about cleaning out his desk.
It seems to me that somebody was in an awful hurry to get these things to Mrs. Farrell.
I don't know. People have gone to resorts before under similar circumstances. What's so different about David Farrell?
Everything. I knew the man. For love or money, he couldn't have done any of the things that these items indicate. This is a deliberate attempt to discredit him.
Well, you think the person who put this evidence together might have been the same person who pushed David Farrell down the elevator shaft?
That's exactly what I think. And I also think that person was Gavin Bledsoe.
That's a strong accusation, Counselor, without adequate proof.
Look, how about this doodle? I saw Bledsoe do the same thing last night. I'd swear this was his work.
You can't base a murder charge on that, a doodle. Listen, I've got some checking to do. Why don't you get back to the office and find out about that audit?
Well, I'll be very much surprised if there isn't a deficit. This whole setup is just to cover up a shortage, or I'm going back to law school.
Herb, don't let your friendship for David or sympathy for his wife run away with you. At the moment, we don't even have anything that faintly resembles a case against anyone, including Gavin Bledsoe. Now, look, meet me back at the office in an hour. I'll see what I can find out.
All right.
Well, hell, Counselor. I wouldn't say you look cheerful.
The audit showed a shortage of $200,000.
What did you find out?
Oh, plenty. On the date specified, the airline company has no record of selling a ticket to David Farrell and his wife.
Good. What else?
David never checked into any one of the Crystal Sands hotels. And the girl in the picture is not named Betsy. Her name is June Larkin. The photographer's imprint led us to her, and she never heard of a man named David Farrell.
We're getting warmer, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Herb, some types of paper take fingerprints and some don't. Now, those accounting sheets sent to Mrs. Farrell were covered with prints, and not one of them belonged to David Farrell.
Which means he never handled the sheets.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sergeant?
Answer to your all points inquiry on Bledsoe just came in.
Oh, thank you. Well, what do you know? Here, Bledsoe's president of a company where the comptroller's taken the rap. Just 12 years ago, there was another embezzlement with only one difference. The president took the rap and the jump.
Down the elevator shaft?
Mm-hmm. And guess who the comptroller was, Herb?
Gavin Bledsoe?
Right.
Got enough to make an arrest?
Maybe. It'd be kind of hard to prove that David was murdered.
Why not try a little psychology? A guilty conscience can make a man do some strange things.
Well, what if Bledsoe isn't guilty?
There's only one way to find that out. If we can make him think we're checking back on him, if he is the embezzler, he might panic and do something to give himself away.
Yeah. Sergeant.
Yes, Lieutenant.
Get me everything you can dig up on Gavin Bledsoe since the year one. Also on Extruded Metal Products and Ingot Steel Company of Indiana. I want that in a hurry and put a 24-hour watch on Gavin Bledsoe.
Hello. Mr. Bledsoe's office, please. Now, what if he won't talk to me?
Once his secretary gives him your name, he'll talk to you.
Mr. Bledsoe, please. This is an old friend of his, George Lacey. It's a personal matter. I think it's going to work. Hello, Gav, you old pencil pusher. How are you? Well, this is George Lacey. Uh-huh. Oh, years, I guess. Hmm? Oh, there's nothing you can do for me. I just thought maybe there was something I could do for you. A lawyer just left here. He was asking all sorts of questions about you and that shortage 12 years ago at Ingot.
A lawyer? Oh, you must mean Herb Maris. Yes, he's our company attorney. I should have warned you that he might drop in. Oh, he's finding out who everyone is from the boss on down before he files our application for a new stock issue. Mm-hmm. No, George, certainly you did right. Never can tell about these things. Mm-hmm. Some evening? Yes, time does march on, doesn't it? Oh, I think we should. Why don't you call me, a week from today? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. Reservations? Yes, this is George Daniels.
By any chance, do you have any space on your next flight out to Manila? No, just a single. Well, you do. Well, wonderful. 10:15 tonight. No, I'll be leaving for the airport in just a few minutes. I'll pick up the ticket there. Yes, fine. That's George Daniels. Right.
I'm keeping the ledgers in the safe until after the audit is finished.
Oh, that's fine, Alex. There's something I want to check. You run along home, and I'll see that they're locked up.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Listen, Hunsaker checked the office till 10 o'clock. No sign of Bledsoe. He never came out.
Are you still watching it?
Waste of time, Herb. I had a man there all night. My guess is Bledsoe's many miles away from here this morning.
Well, I've got to go to Bledsoe's office to get a statement of the company condition. I'll see if Todd has any ideas.
Good. Call me if he has.
I sure will. Goodbye.
Take me to the station.
Lieutenant Weston, please. Emergency. This is Maris. I picked up Bledsoe as he came out of the office building. He took off in a cab. I tried to follow him, but I got bogged down in traffic. He's going east on Century Boulevard. I lost him at Wilton Drive.
Century Boulevard? What's he doing on Century? Listen, if he wanted to make a fast getaway, he'd head for the airport. That's in the opposite direction. Wait a minute, Herb. Train station. If he gets on one of those milk runs, we're in real trouble. I'm going to set a stakeout up at the airport, bus terminal, and train station. Also roadblocks on every highway leading out of town. I'll have you picked up with a squad car in exactly 2 minutes.
Instead of 10, I'll make it 20. Do another favor for me.
What?
My wife probably has people watching for me. I want you to buy me a ticket on the next train out of here.
You must be way back in your alimony.
Too far back to start paying now. Well, is it a deal?
Sure, for an extra $10, why not? Any place in particular you want to go?
Doesn't matter where, just so long as it's a local.
A local? I don't get it.
Neither will she. I'll transfer at the next stop.
I'll get you fixed up right away.
day, mister. Train's due in here in a couple of minutes. Makes 8 stops. You can take your choice. No, you earned your money. If anyone should question you, I'm a clam.
So hold it right there.
What arrest? What's this all about? What for? Embezzlement and murder. What are you talking about?
You killed David Farrell. Later on, when there was no one around to hear the crash, you pushed him down the elevator shaft.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm telling you, David Farrell committed suicide.
Alex Todd didn't. He was alive when the police found him in your office. But the receiving hospital says he was dead on arrival.